I want him to go to college, and I want him to, be successful and have the career of his choice.
Preparing kids for college.
And Courtside with Tiana Williams.
Good evening and welcome to this edition of Black Nouveau. I'm Milton Dockery.
And I'm Faithe Colas. We're glad that you could join us. On this edition, we'll preview National Black Marriage Day and meet Tiana Williams, a rising teen tennis star.
We'll also profile Eddie Rutledge, a singer and author who uses his talents to help children learn how to read.
But first, the Pathways to College mission is to provide students with the necessary tools to be academically, socially, spiritually, and financially able to get a college education. Liddy Collins has more.
A lot of students don't understand that a large college may not be the scenario for them. They may fit in better in a smaller college. They may fit in better at a historically black college as opposed to a white college. So when you talk about all of those things, you want to have the right fit. And if they don't have that direction and don't know.
To get that direction and know-how, on Saturdays once a month and during the week after school, these middle school students arrive on the campus of Wisconsin Lutheran College to participate in Pathways to College.
Excuse me, gentlemen.
This year-round program gets students to start thinking early about college. It helps students learn that college is possible and that it's not something foreign or unattainable. Pathways get the middle school students familiar with the academic climate so they are not apprehensive when they're on a college campus. They will know what it's about and not be afraid.
How do we do our pledge?
The classes this program offers are geared to getting students college ready. Courses in math, science, communication skills, and classes that teach students how to get along with others is a must.
Academically, our goal is to close that gap, that math, science, and reading gaps that our kids have. So that's where those courses come into play. And then, when you look at a lot of our kids that do go on to college, from a minority standpoint or student of color standpoint, 30% of them drop out their first year of college. And most of the time it's not due to academics, it's due to the social skills that may not be there because they don't always go to the right school. So that's where the social classes and things that we provide come into play.
This pre-college program is free. It's funded through foundations, grants, private donors, and philanthropy. Starting with 6th grade and continuing through high school, the parental involvement is a must. Parents are on campus once a month also, but in their own workshops.
She's learning skills that she's going to need to have in college, so when she gets there, she's not struggling.
Why so early?
Why not? That's the best time to get them started, so they are used to things that are coming towards them. They're not going to struggle as much. So start them off as young as possible so they have that knowledge and confidence.
I just hope that it prepares him to understand what's ahead for him in terms of going to college.
I hope the outcome for my child is to just improve his study skills. He gets decent grades, but I want him to keep that up. I want him to go to college, and I want him to, be successful and have the career of his choice.
Growth. Understanding just different things in life that they're going to go through, just growing up, period. Again, helping prepare them for college and basically for real life as they get older.
Parents, sign what we call our covenant. That lays out what they can expect from us, what we expect from them as parents, and what we expect from the students. And the parents and the students have to sign off on that. So they understand that this is a long-term commitment up front. It's not a 1 or 2 year program.
Let me know, send me an email.
With parent involvement, Pathway students are brought into the college way of thinking so that college will become a natural progression in their lives.
Hoping to go to college and cause it's some young black man who don't go to college, and then their life is messed up. So I'm hoping that's not gonna happen to me.
It's a good way to get ready for college, a good way to meet new people. It really changes my perspective I had towards other people and towards my teachers.
Know thyself is helping me a better person
and have a positive attitude in order to get where I want to go.
It's helping me by showing me stuff that I don't know, and it's helping me in my bad subjects, like subjects that I'm not good in, and it really is something that gives you good experiences to like how to talk to people, how to be a better person, how to be a good leader, how to have good sportsmanship.
While on campus, parents are learning through workshops how to be a support to their children.
They have one that talks about just different ways that you can help your child be successful in school, but then they have another workshop that's just for parents, how we can improve ourselves, because they said, how can you help your child if you don't have yourself together? So there's one that's the focus is on your child, but then there's another workshop that's focusing on parents and improving us as parents.
You are required to come and participate. How do you feel being on a college campus?
I wish I could have went to college myself, but unfortunately it didn't happen. But it's just that the atmosphere, just being on campus, it's just enlightening everything that I could ever do. But now that he has this chance to, I'm just all for it. I'm all for it.
When they're sixth graders, it's kind of overwhelming, but that's why we do it, because now they have a feel that, oh, this is what college is all about. You know, students walking on campus, they're feeling like they fit in. They're eating in the dining hall with the college students. They do that on Saturdays. They do it after school. So, you know, when that time comes to start talking about college, that fear is gone, because now they have an idea of what it feels like to be on a college campus, to walk around. Our summer program is taught by college professors. So they already get to experience a lot of these things, so that fear factor becomes a non-factor.
I don't know if he fully understands the importance of everything right now, but I think down the line, this is one of those things that he'll thank you, Mom, for putting me in that program.
For Tiana Williams, tennis is a family affair. The teenager is not related to Venus or Serena Williams, but tennis is a major part of her family life.
We first met Tiana this past summer at the 2010 U.S. Youth Games. The 13-year-old was the torchbearer for the games, and she helped the Milwaukee team win the tennis tournament. For Tiana, tennis is a family affair.
In the 90s, I started a tennis career myself. She has an older brother who's 20, and he plays as well. He's currently on the pro circuit, the future circuit. And she was just a little girl watching me and my son play constantly. And every now and again she'd come on the court, and from that point she's been always on the tennis court.
Tiana, when did you start playing tennis?
Since I was 2.
What about the game of tennis did you like at the age of 2?
Hitting tennis balls and running around, chasing them. I wanted to play tennis tournaments, but I was like too young and a little short, so I had to get older, get stronger, learn how to get the strategy of playing tennis.
It was about my son. He was 7 years her senior, and it was him and national tournaments, and all of a sudden this little bitty girl just get out there, and she just showed that she was listening. He may not have been listening, but she was. And when her chance came, she just exploded. Just completely blew me and my wife and everybody away. Just unbelievable how aggressively she can play the game, how smart she was, and how badly she wanted to win. And 7, she broke in on the national stage, and it was unbelievable. At 7, she plays a circuit for kids, 11 and under. It's called Little Mo National. Little Mo is a famous female tennis player who's played and won a lot of Grand Slams. She died early in life. But anyway, her daughter had this huge national tournament, 2-part circuit, 3-part circuit, sectionals, regionals, and nationals. Well, she did well at sectionals. She got like 2nd place. In the regionals, she got 3rd place. And then she went to nationals where she was the smallest. And she was not ranked, and all these other girls from all across the country. And she got 4th place. She went through seeds, and she just was so impressive.
You play singles and doubles?
Yes.
Which do you prefer?
Singles.
Why?
It's it's easier to play singles because when I play doubles, I get confused sometimes. Like I would hit the ball in the court, and I got to get used to the doubles lines and not covering the whole court. So I like singles better because it just relies on me and not another person.
Really good. Forehand volley. Shot.
Her father is also her coach.
Clean strokes.
I started to play pro tennis, but I had to make a decision of whether or not I was going to be a father or I was going to be a tennis player. I've chose to be a father instead of a tennis player because there's lots of tennis players, but not that many fathers. So that's kind of my retrospect of giving up tennis for my children.
The family is originally from Chicago, but moved to Milwaukee a few years ago.
It's a different pace from Chicago. I was looking for a slower pace. By profession, I'm a real estate broker, and I was looking to come here and do some developing further west. And we just stopped here because in the 90s, like 93, I moved up here for a while to do some research. Just a nice place, an excellent place, a nice family place, slower pace and manageable.
Tiana is homeschooled. It is a family practice that started with her brother, Renell.
I'm looking for something more from my kids' education. Looked at the different curriculums in different schools and decided that we should homeschool to see what is it to homeschooling versus regular school.
She enjoys the things most young girls do, but she is determined to become a tennis star. Which of the tennis slams do you want to win most, and why?
Wimbledon.
Wimbledon.
Yeah, it's like the first Grand Slam that introduced all the rest of them. It's the best one. You get to meet the queen of Wimbledon.
Tiana loves tennis. She hoped to really do well in tennis, and that's roughly it. If you work really hard at something, you could really achieve it.
Amani's World is a children's book written by Milwaukeean Eddie Rutledge. His goal is to help children learn how to read.
Bunny is a special friend, and I can always count on him. Oh yeah, did I mention that Bunny is a rabbit and he can talk?
I love working with children. I've always somehow been exposed to being in charge of a children's program or children in some setting, and I believe that was my calling for some reason. So I'm just sticking with that path. I love it. This is actually my passion.
Eddie Rutledge has been working in children's education since 1998.
I've been a part of child care for well over 10 years here. I had a child care facility approximately 10, 11 years ago. I've sat actually on several state boards for Wisconsin. I've always been responsible or some type of, responsible format for child care conferences. I've always visited schools. I've helped out with counseling, advocacy for child care providers. So all of that has always been a part of my life, no matter what.
A few years ago, he became an author of a children's book.
Well, the book came to a reality from several discussions I had with my cousin who resides in Virginia. That's Amani's mom. And just really after repeat conversations, I decided to put together a project that I thought could be really, really creative but yet interactive for children of all ages, but especially in the age range of Amani. Amani is actually 6 years of age, and most of the students that I've dealt with in my child care days and also just interaction with schools were in the ages of 2, 3, 4, and 5 and up.
The book is a springboard for presentations that Eddie and his associates perform for schools and other children's groups.
When the book project started approximately 4 years ago, it was just an idea to put together a type of prototype to submit to various networks such as Nickelodeon and Disney. actually a pitch story as they call it. But what I ended up doing was first putting out the book. I'm also a musician, so with my background in music, I wanted to do something a little creative that I had never seen on stage from other vendors or keynote speakers or even just workshops. I wanted to try to come up with a musical approach, yet a book approach for story time opportunities, incorporate nutrition, healthy eating, and along with children's fitness.
All right, so the first group is the greens group, and that includes things like breads. Can anybody else tell me one other thing that's in that greens group?
Why is nutrition such an important part of this?
Well, I think part of it for me is that I, again, served over or was responsible for a lot of students that had, I don't want to say bad habits, but didn't have well-educated habits on how to eat smart. You know, I remember myself when we were younger, the convenient way to get a snack or food was just to go to your local corner store and get a bag of chips and a bag of whatever else. At that time, it was acceptable because there was no big concern for what goes into our bodies. As time went on, I became more aware of that. I started really speaking out on it myself to think that, okay, maybe we can, if you eat less of this, then maybe we can approach this from a different angle. From the regular mentions of healthy eating, child obesity prevention, all that just came together into one big project for me.
1, 2, 3, 4.
He feels the exercises help keep the children physically and mentally fit.
I've learned that if a child, if a child has physical exercise, that will mentally keep them prepared, keep them in a routine. That maybe, for example, when I walked into school today, students said, "Hey, that's the guy from Amani's World." Well, they remembered me. I was here a month and a half ago. So if we're working with them in a physical aspect with physical training, they will hopefully retain that exercise, that somebody adult like cared about my body, cared about me being stronger, in a fit form, and so on.
And he thinks geography is important.
From visiting these schools here in Wisconsin and on the East Coast, I've seen a lot of stories, as I would call them, of children that need attention from people like myself, advocates. There are a lot of children that are less fortunate, don't have the opportunity to travel from places, from place to place, that don't have full knowledge on, for example, where the White House is, and they live right in that city. You know, if you ask them, have you ever been to the White House for just a regular tour? They haven't done that. I had students here in Milwaukee when I had my childcare facilities that had never gone across state lines from Wisconsin into Chicago just to see a play or a show or even a movie.
Each presentation has a musical performance.
When you grow from small to tall, gotta have a little patience. When you build a house from blocks, when you learn to read a clock, but certain things we do will take some time. When you learn to count back rules, it takes time. Every day, things you like to do. Time with things you like to do.
Eddie plans to continue the Amani book series.
I would love to see more, I would say not more, but continued involvement with reading paperback books. As I mentioned, we have electronic versions of all of this, but I believe there's always going to be a room for the paperback book approach. There will always be room for a person, for a human to come into a classroom and share a story. I believe everyone has their own story to tell. Of the United States.
Of the United States.
More information about Amani's World is available online at www.amanisworld.com.
Sunday, March 27th is Black Marriage Day. Compel, a Milwaukee grassroots organization whose mission is to strengthen families, is the local sponsor of the event here in Milwaukee. Joining us to discuss Black Marriage Day are Deborah and Johnny Fields. Thank you both for joining us on Black Nouveau.
Thank you.
Deborah, this is the second year for the celebration. What's the purpose of Black Marriage Day?
The purpose of Black Marriage Day is to promote marriage in the African American community. It's actually a national event, and this is its 8th year of existence. And we watched a tape of the founder, Nisa Mohammed, who talked about why she founded this National Marriage Day. And the whole idea behind, and one of the quotes that I heard was, a young man said that marriage is for white people only. And so it's the idea of what's happening in our community, what's happening to couples, what's happening to relationships, and all the negative stereotypes, the statistics that say we're failing as a people, and that includes in our relationships. They say we are down by 65% in terms of the marriage rate. So her goal was to really promote marriage, and especially for those individuals who've got healthy, long marriages.
Johnny, what is the advantage to being married?
Some of the advantages to being married of course, is better health, longer life expectancy. Folks that are married are typically wealth builders, and also the children that comes from marriage actually are much healthier, better rounded, for really more productive for society.
And this question is for either of you, do you think that the media is promoting or not promoting Black marriages?
It definitely is not promoting Black marriages. A lot of the shows that you see on television actually are more about single people than anything else. And so for those of us who've been married for a while, you don't get to see that at all. I can honestly say the one show that everybody knew about where there was a family where the couple was married was the Bill Cosby Show. That's the only show where most people can identify and say there was a couple who had a long, healthy marriage. And so we're not seeing that, but we definitely see a lot of promotion about people who are single, trying to get together, making connections, hooking up, but we're not seeing, okay, once they do, what's going on.
Or marriage is portrayed as something that's not tolerated. It's to be made fun of. It's a bad situation. So marriage really gets to get a bad rap. And when you're married, really you can have lots of fun and really enjoy a healthy relationship.
You know, one of the shows that I remember, speaking of television shows, I remember growing up and seeing Good Times.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so my next question is, how does marriage impact, social ills? That family was obviously a low-income family, but they had a strong marriage. I don't know that we've seen anything like that in a long time. Since the Cosbys, they were obviously middle class, very educated.
Mm-hmm.
What does marriage do to address social ills?
Well, when you speak about social ills and you look at the children in particular, we see fewer children, African American children, going to college because you have fewer couples that are together, that are united in terms of how are we going to direct our families? How are we going to get on the same page about the goals for our family? How are we going to achieve those goals together? And so it's about uniting our resources and everything to build. And when you have resources as a couple, regardless, you can begin to build something to make and have an impact on your community. If your children can go to school, when you take the stress off a child's ability to go to school, and when you're together, working together, one person has resources, has access to information that the other partner might not. So you bring that information together and you really work towards building those relationships. You look towards the future. How we as a couple, will we develop as we grow older? What will happen to us? And so we're concerned about each other as we grow older. How will we take care of each other? When you talk about social ills, what's happening to our elders, the Black people in our community as they get older? As you see families splitting apart, fewer and fewer people are around to be responsible or to make any decisions in terms of the health of our elders.
And also one of the things that we did leading up to Black marriage was we do a course called The Strongest Link, the Couple. And in that we talk about the skills that it takes to stay together, speaking up, listening, and cooperating with one another, and really saying what you want in order to have a happy, healthy relationship.
So single people can come to Black Marriage Day celebration. You're encouraging single people as well?
Well, Black Marriage Day celebration is actually for married couples. They can come as guests, but it is actually about married couples.
And what do you do any matchmaking then to encourage?
No, we don't do any matchmaking,
Okay.
but what we do is offer courses to build those skills to stay together.
Yes.
Most people will say that marriage is work. It takes work to build a happy, healthy relationship. And so courses that we offer for singles as well as married couples can come and learn those skills to stay together.
Yeah. And do you do this all year long, you know, kind of leading up to Black Marriage Day?
We offer the courses all year long, but this particular year, our second year of National Black Marriage Day, we did offer courses at different locations so that in addition to attending National Black Marriage Day, they would be able to attend a free weekend retreat where we brought all these married couples together. We gave them, you know, everything, the tools for a weekend to kind of reinforce for them what the marriage is all about. And just a reminder, because we had people who were newly married to couples who had been married a long time.
40, 45 years.
How can people find out more about Black Marriage Day?
You can come to the website, which is Compel Milwaukee, MILW.org, and click on the National Black Marriage Day banner, and they will get all the information that concerning National Black Marriage Day.
Wonderful. Thank you both for joining us.
Thank you.
And that wraps up this edition of Black Nouveau.
Remember, in the coming week, do something to expand your world. Good night.
Good night, and thanks for watching.